The title of Daniel Walker Howe's history book, What Hath God Wrought? The Transformation of America, 1815 to 1848, 2007, signals the era in which a new generation of American leaders emerged to succeed the Founding Fathers. A Rhodes professor, Howe previously taught at Oxford University and the University of California. What Hath God Wrought won the 2008 Pulitzer Prize for History and is part of the Oxford History of the United States series. The narrative begins with the War of 1812 and concludes with the Mexican-American War in 1848. Among the prominent political figures of the time was Andrew Jackson, often depicted in earlier works as a champion of democracy and a key figure in the expansion of the American state. Howe, however, offers a contrasting perspective portraying Jackson and his followers as white supremacists, defenders of slavery, and exploiters of natural resources for personal gain. In contrast, Howe elevates the Whig Party as the true harbinger of America's future. Whigs advocated for popular participation in government through demonstrations and other civic mechanisms, and for legislation protecting ordinary citizens from exploitation by corporations or government. They supported targeted government intervention to aid economically disadvantaged regions, while Jacksonian Democrats believed such redistribution would primarily benefit the already powerful and thus should be restricted. Democrats envisioned America as a meritocracy where individual drive and ingenuity determine success, whereas the Whigs favored a more measured approach, arguing that the pursuit of personal advancement should be balanced with collective societal welfare. A cornerstone of Whig policy was the creation of a public school system. They also promoted rapid economic growth, centralization of the banking system, and the maintenance of high public land prices to prevent concentration of property in the hands of a few. Howe's work also emphasizes the technological transformations of the era. The period he chronicles coincided with America's first major industrial revolution, featuring significant advances in agriculture, communications, and transportation infrastructure. Among these innovations, Howe highlights the telegraph as particularly transformative. The phrase that titles his book comes from one of the first messages sent using the device. Some historians, however, have expressed skepticism about the shift from an agrarian to an industrial economy. Charles Sellers, previously commissioned to write for the Oxford History series, argued that Americans of the previous century were healthier and happier than those living amid industrialization. Howe challenges this assessment, contending that many Americans embraced economic growth which ultimately benefited the country. He points to the wider availability of consumer goods at lower prices. For instance, a mattress that would have cost $50 before 1815 could be purchased for $5 only a few years later. While Howe concedes that economic inequality may have increased during this period, he attributes much of it to immigration. In rural areas with fewer immigrants, small-scale manufacturing offered avenues for economic advancement. Transportation developments also played a crucial role in economic expansion. Trains and steamboats became the primary means for long-distance travel, providing early examples of public transit that linked vast regions. The construction of canals and commercial rail lines further stimulated growth. The Erie Canal, for example, increased traffic to New York Harbor by 500%. Yet, Howe acknowledges that most people did not directly benefit from these changes. Agriculture remained the dominant livelihood and many farmers barely subsisted even in prosperous years. Nevertheless, Howe presents the period as broadly positive, a time when the economic and ideological trajectory of the United States was decisively shaped. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.